The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone. All over the world, we're seeing the devastating impact of this invisible killer.
So I'm just going to see where this is.
The trauma teams are coping with the like of which they've never seen before.
Emergency adult trauma team, please go to A&E Majors 2.
This is a simulation. They're training on the job in the middle of a pandemic.
Are you good to go?
It's crucial they work out how to stay ahead of this deadly virus that few in the world know much about.
Okay, so we'll go on 3. 1, 2, 3.
This is coping with emergencies in the time of coronavirus. Everyone could be a potential COVID patient. And not long into this training session, the team realised the life-saving treatment they have to do means they're putting themselves in danger.
Guys, you can't tube, you've not got your FFP3 on. We don't know anything about this patient. Yeah, but what about the rest of us?
So I think this is a way of generating procedures.
Most of them aren't wearing enough personal protective equipment, so they have to leave the simulated emergency to kit up. Many are from different departments, working together for the first time, and there are constant tough choices.
We don't want to use up all the personal protective equipment that we have, but we've got to keep our staff safe, and it's just finding the right time to put the right kit on. That's good tube, you've got good CO2 on that, and that's successful intubation. We're going to change the mannequin now.
So this is only a simulation, but you can see how their work has changed entirely and how they're having to learn different techniques and how to adapt to the COVID-19 era.
They need to keep thinking of new tactics to tackle this virus.
This is why people will only be allowed to leave their home for the following very limited purposes. Shopping for basic necessities as infrequently as possible. One form of exercise a day, for example, a run, walk or cycle, alone or with members of your household. Any medical need to provide care or to help a vulnerable person, and travelling to and from work, but only where this is absolutely necessary and cannot be done from home. That's all. These are the only reasons you should leave your home.
The UK has gone on lockdown. I will be showing the rest of my process with you for a little like blog / documentary kind of thing. There is so many things that people are worried about. Obviously going outside, you have to stay 6 feet apart from people, and obviously show what has happened during the first week or two that I did. That is during quarantine, is to do little masks like this and like big masks that I'll probably be able to show you later. But I've just come out the shower. Hygiene is very important to stay clean during this pandemic. So I've just taken off the back little mask and I have put on some gold little mask for my under eyes. While I'm waiting for this to be done, I am doing this.
There goes one brave kid. He has to be brave to wear that ensemble. Okay.
floor because it's gross. But yeah, that's what I'm doing today. So you'll be able to see what I kind of do. Cleaned my room already and I made it a total mess. And I'm just gonna redo it again. Didn't get to finish cleaning my room. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt again. I cleaned up a little bit, but just got too drowsy. So what I'm gonna do is some college work. So I'm doing my college work at the moment. I'm just catching up on some stuff. And it doesn't look like a lot, but I'm just getting through it at the moment. And then I've got another PowerPoint to do. And then I'm all caught up. And then take a shower as well and probably do a little workout. But you'll be able to see what I'm doing throughout the day. My hair's a bit crazy at the moment. You'll be able to hear from my family and maybe get some responses from friends today. We shall see how the day goes on. Mum, what you eating?
She's eating food. Is it bean or food? Yes, it is still food. Mung beans.
Scott, what are you eating?
Hot dog! That's not a hot dog, it's called a sausage. Sausages! A hot dog is a sausage in a bun.
And what have you guys been doing today?
Mainly me doing homework. And completing it. Mainly cooking.
Probably cleaning.
Cleaning.
Eating. So what have you been doing during quarantine, Mum?
The household works.
Anything else?
Doing the garden. Exercise. Go for a walk. Once a week shopping. What else? And of course, social media.
And how do you feel?
And YouTube. Dancing in the lounge.
How do you feel about the coronavirus?
It's okay. At least I am with my kids. Yeah. I see their faces. The only thing that makes you safe is your home and your family. No one else.
So, what have you been doing in quarantine?
Just been playing on my Xbox and watching TV and then doing my homework.
How do you feel about being quarantined?
I'm very bored. I thought it'd be fun, but no.
Do you miss your school?
50-50.
And why is that?
Getting homework. They said we're going to be doing it again. So what's the point of doing the homework now then? There's just no point. But
And
then if I go to school, I don't get that homework. Maybe I do. Don't know, I have no idea.
What do you know about the coronavirus?
It's a pandemic and it stopped transportation and that.
They're noisy and don't really understand the concept of personal space, and these flamingos are getting the VIP treatment. Given the rare opportunity to take a private tour of the Texas State Aquarium after it closed due to coronavirus. They're not the only animals taking advantage of the lack of people. Japan's famous Nara Park deer, usually fed by tourists, have started wandering into town to search for their next meal. While this puma surprised residents of Chile's capital, Santiago, when it came down from nearby mountains. And Peru's beaches, normally crowded with people, have now been taken over by flocks of seabirds. Although some animals are enjoying their newfound freedom, these monkeys in Thailand, accustomed to getting snacks from people, brawled in the street over a cup of yogurt. With so much wildlife appearing in urban areas, people are finding it difficult to look away.
This is like The Bachelorette, but with turkeys.
And their fascination has inspired thousands to tune into live streams from zoos around the world. And while parks and public spaces remain off limits to people, animals will have free rein.
It's really a good thing within all the worrying and the situation that's happening right now. Of all the impacts of the pandemic, one of the few positive impacts is giving nature a break.
It's not just the animal world that's benefiting from less human activity. Data showing bluer skies and cleaner air in previously heavily polluted areas.
We're establishing a new COVID alert system run by a new joint biosecurity centre. And that COVID alert level will be determined primarily by R and the number of coronavirus cases, and in turn, that COVID alert level will tell us how tough we have to be in our social distancing measures. The lower the level, the fewer the measures, the higher the level, the tougher and stricter we will have to be. There will be 5 alert levels. Level 1 means the disease is no longer present in the UK, and level 5 is the most critical, the kind of situation we could have had if the NHS had been overwhelmed. Over the period of the lockdown, we've been in level 4, and it's thanks to your sacrifice we're now in a position to begin to move in steps to level 3, and as we go, everyone will have a role to play in keeping the R down by staying alert and following the rules.
So stay alert will mean stay alert by staying home as much as possible, but stay alert when you do go out by maintaining social distancing, washing your hands. This will be a cautious message because the rate of infection is still high.
But with so many tempted out by the sunshine this weekend, there are fears that the new message could create more confusion about the rules.
When we're asking people to adjust their behaviour, we need absolute clarity from government. There's no room for nuance, but I think many people will be puzzled by this new slogan. It's not quite clear what it means.
Welsh and Scottish First Ministers said they won't be adopting the PM's new slogan. Nicola Sturgeon tweeted, "Given the critical point we're at in tackling the virus, stay home, save lives remains my clear message to Scotland at this stage." Britain's unions too say they are nervous about supporting any easing of lockdown without a clear health and safety plan in place.
We are really nervous about returning back to work because we don't know whether we will be safe, our colleagues will be safe, and certainly the people that we look after, certainly in public services, whether they will be safe.
As we wait for details of the Prime Minister's plan, it's clear many people are nervous about what a post-lockdown landscape will look like.
Starting to settle in slightly. People are beginning to move around with activity starting to increase. Traffic volumes on Saturday were 5% higher than the week before. But it's the number of daily reported deaths and the people in hospital that the government will be watching more closely. The number of people dying in hospital is reducing. Today, there were 360 deaths. That's the smallest total since the 30th of March. The line on this chart is a rolling 7-day average, and it shows the growth in deaths is slowing and is no longer exponential. But that downward trend is slow, and the government will want the numbers to be consistently much smaller before easing restrictions. The number of people in hospital beds gives us a clue as to how prevalent the virus is in the community. Here too, there have been positive signs, with the numbers down in England 16% in the last week. But some epidemiologists believe these numbers need to reduce even further from their peak before the lockdown is lifted. The other key indicator is the percentage of people who test positive for COVID-19. Today, that figure was 4,310, but experts say this is still far too high. The final thing to be considered is excess deaths, and what this shows is a number of deaths above what is expected and considered normal. That's the grey shaded part along the bottom of the graph. Here we can see that compared to Italy and Spain, the UK figure is still far too high.
Work from home if you can, but you should go to work if you can't work from home. And to ensure you are safe at work, we've been working to establish new guidance for employers to make workplaces COVID secure. And when you do go to work, if possible, do so by car, or even better, by walking or bicycle. But just as with workplaces, public transport operators will also be following COVID secure standards. And from this Wednesday, we want to encourage people to take more and even unlimited amounts of outdoor exercise. You can sit in the sun in your local park, you can drive to other destinations, you can even play sports, only with members of your own household. You must obey the rules on social distancing, and to enforce those rules, we will increase the fines for the small minority who break them. And so, every day, with ever-increasing data, we will be monitoring the R and the number of new infections and the progress we are making. And if we as a nation begin to fulfill the conditions I have set out, then in the next few weeks and months, we may be able to go further. In step 2, at the earliest by June the 1st, after half-term, we believe we may be in a position to begin the phased reopening of shops and to get primary pupils back into schools, in stages beginning with reception, year 1 and year 6. Our ambition is that secondary pupils facing exams next year will get at least some time with their teachers before the holidays, and we'll shortly be setting out detailed guidance on how to make it work in schools and shops and on transport. And step 3, at the earliest by July and subject to all these conditions and further scientific advice, if and only if the numbers support it, we will hope to reopen at least some of the hospitality industry and other public places, provided they're safe and enforce social distancing. And of course, we will be monitoring our progress locally, regionally, and nationally. And if there are outbreaks, if there are problems, we will not hesitate to put on the brakes. We've been through the initial peak, but it's coming down the mountain that is often more dangerous. We have a route and we have a plan. And everyone in government has the all-consuming pressure and challenge to save lives, restore livelihoods, and gradually restore the freedoms that we need. But in the end, this is a plan that everyone must make work. And when I look at what you've done already, the patience and common sense you've shown, the fortitude of the elderly, whose isolation we all want to end, as fast as we can. The incredible bravery and hard work of our NHS staff, our care workers, the devotion and self-sacrifice of all those in every walk of life who are helping us to beat this disease: police, bus drivers, train drivers, pharmacists, supermarket workers, road hauliers, bin collectors, cleaners, security guards, postal workers, our teachers, and 1,000 more. The scientists who are working round the clock to find a vaccine. When I think of the millions of everyday acts of kindness and thoughtfulness that are being performed